And so it's the dishonesty, not the soft peddling, that seems so striking. In these private messages, Tucker said, quote, "We are very, very, very close to being able to ignore Trump most nights. I hate him passionately." And, quote, "He's so destructive." A Fox colleague wrote back, quote, "Yes, I really hate what he's doing. Millions believe what he says." Tucker Carlson wrote back, quote, "It's disgusting. I'm trying to look away." Destructive, disgusting. And now compare that with what he said last night on Fox.
For a man who is caricatured as an extremist, we think you'll find what he has to say moderate, sensible, and wise.
That's a political campaign, right? That's the way you might see Trump introduced at a rally. From the same person who called Donald Trump destructive and disgusting in text messages. And it got worse.
Heavily on foreign policy. Really an amazing conversation.
It was amazing, but not really for the reasons that Tucker cited. What made it so amazing was the incredible lengths he went to avoid addressing his previous comments bashing Donald Trump. In fact, he went as far as to insult others for supposedly dismissing Trump for years, just as he had done.
For the past 7 years, the neocon media establishment's been telling you that Donald Trump is a dangerous lunatic. In 2 years in office, Joe Biden has brought the world to the brink of nuclear holocaust. Who's the dangerous lunatic?
Again, Tucker circa November 2020 didn't quite use the words dangerous lunatic, but he did say Trump is a demonic force, a destroyer, but he's not going to destroy us. And, quote, "What Trump's good at doing is destroying things. He's the undisputed world champion of that. He could easily destroy us if we play it wrong." Now, maybe he's changed his mind. Fair enough. Then he should just acknowledge that. Acknowledge the text. Say something like, "You know what? I thought Donald Trump was awful. He was horrible. I was wrong." Okay. And sure, it would have looked a little transparent, but at least it would have shown that he recognized the absurd hypocrisy of what he did. He's allowed to change his mind. But instead, he just pretends the text and those sentiments don't exist. And it's possible many in his audience don't know those texts exist because Fox News has hardly reported on the Dominion case. But to everyone else, particularly those like me who long respected Tucker Carlson, this is a new level of phoniness. Joining us now is John Ziegler, conservative media commentator and the co-host of the Death of Journalism podcast. John, thanks for coming back on the program. Appreciate it. All right, so what did you make of Tucker's handling of the interview last night, what he said and didn't say?
Dan, you've handled the hypocrisy issue very well, but for me, this hit a lot closer to home and created a lot more anger for me because like you, I'm a fan of Tucker Carlson. I respect him greatly as a talent. I've been friendly with him for many years. Used to work for him many years ago at the Daily Caller. But I know that he loathes Donald Trump. Everyone knows this. And we are at a critical juncture of this process, far more critical than the average person understands. I believe we are very, very close to Donald Trump clinching the 2024 Republican nomination. And it's largely because of Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson has reshaped the narrative on the right on January 6th. He shaped the narrative of the Manhattan DA's indictment, which I disagree with, and I think you have problems with as well. But he has shaped it in a way that makes it effectively a test for Republicans to nominate Trump to make sure that the left can't do this again, which is absolutely asinine. And then last night's interview was, for me, the final straw. So I texted Tucker Carlson. I sent him a respectful, heat-seeking missile about what he has done, explaining to him, because I know these people live in a bubble and that no one's going to tell him the truth. And so I said, Tucker, you are reelecting Joe Biden. You are destroying what is left of this republic if Donald Trump is the nominee in 2024. And I hope it's worth it to you because it's good for Fox's ratings, maintaining the audience, not offending the Trump cult that watches Fox on a regular basis. But I hope you sleep well, and I hope the ratings are worth it. And we had an extraordinary exchange because he played the "I'm just a talk show host" card. I don't have any influence. I'm not important. And I'm thinking this is beneath even Tucker Carlson, beneath even a cable news host, because this is the most important media figure there is on the right. And he has set up Donald Trump to be the nominee in 2024. We are dangerously close to that happening for a lot of reasons other than just Tucker Carlson. But what we saw last night, it's really hard to imagine. How does Donald Trump get taken down when even Fox News Channel is not just not being agnostic and they're not taking him out, they're now fluffing him up at a critical juncture? I just don't see how it happens. And that is a very, very dangerous thing for the nation.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.